It's preparing. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome everybody to Daybreak Live, where every Thursday we gather to talk about all things literary. If you've been following us for a while, you will know that most often we talk to an author or a publisher, somebody on the production side of publications. But today and what is today? Is today the first Tuesday? The first Thursday? No, the third. Every third Thursday of the month, we will be joined by our dear Sarah, who is what we call a young powerhouse. This young woman, you guys better just sit down and buckle in because she's running circles around y'all already, okay? So Sarah is here to represent the reader's side of all things literary. And she'll be bringing us each month, she'll be bringing us a YA book that she has read and enjoyed. Sarah is, actually, let me read her official bio before I give you my own spiel. Let me to grab it. It just disappeared on me. Oh, honestly. Just bear with me. Nothing like having to have people bear with you on live YouTube. Okay, so Sarah says, I'm Sarah and I'm in the 5th grade. I was born in Chicago and I'm the oldest of 3 siblings. Some things I enjoy, including reading and watching interior design shows. Look at that creativity, you guys, like creativity coming out of this girl's ears. However, my greatest passion is definitely graphic designing. I designed my mom's business flyers. Ooh, Sarah, what's your mom's business?
She does wood signs, custom wood signs. And
I'm sorry, we can't hear you. Oh, well, that's probably just me. I can't hear ears. Okay. However, my greatest passion is definitely graphic designing. I designed my mom's business flyers. Ooh, Sarah, what's your mom's? I'm sorry, we can't hear you. Okay, hold on just a second. Welcome, Sarah. Don't be nervous. See how I'm like this is only our 2nd time doing YouTube. We used to, when we began, we were on Insta Live. So we'd go on Instagram Live, and now we're doing the Zooms with the YouTube Live, and I need to figure out how I can set the settings so that I don't hear that feed, but that I can hear you. So hold on just a second while I try to finagle with it. In the meantime, Sarah says, my love for reading and the need to connect with other Muslim girls persuaded me to start a book club for tweens. I'm happy that I get to share my love for books with other girls in the community. Welcome, Sarah. And while I'm trying to mess with the settings, go ahead and tell us about the book club and about your friends and how you guys got together.
So I started the book club after I read Sophia's Journal, your book. And so I go to public school and I really wanted to talk to someone about books like this. So my mom and I decided that we could start a book club with other girls. And so we created an Instagram page and posted flyers. And so we just kind of got people to get interested. And so they, I think, texted my mom. And so we got them onto a Google Classroom platform where basically I handle it and I post on it. I decide the books, but then girls give book recommendations. And so it's virtual, but I really like when we can come together and talk about it because I can relate with other girls in a way that I'm not able to, that I haven't been able to relate before.
So it's not just girls from your school or girls that you know from the masjid. It's something that you opened up to girls. So, so anyone who's listening who would like to join it, where do we send them? How can they join your book club?
You can check out my mom's Instagram, and there we have the MGRC page, and so you can just contact my mom, and
Nice.
we'll crash on platform.
All right, so I'm going to put in the chat your mom's Instagram. What is it?
Wood Signs by Sana.
Wood Signs by Sana, Sana?
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. So if we have any young listeners or any ladies who have listeners who are about Sarah's age, then travel on over there so that your daughters can join along with other girls who are also literarily inclined.
Yeah, it's ages 9 to 12, so basically tweens.
9 to 12, tweens. Excellent, excellent. That's good because a lot of the books that you read are YA, so it's good to know that the ages are a little bit.
Because I've been into realistic, or not realistic fiction. I've been into middle grade novels, so it's hard in public school to find people who like reading books about Muslim girls all the time or can relate to those books.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice that you reached out so that you can find more people to interact with, and then you also provide an opportunity for them to have a place to go to talk about Muslim representation in books. I love it. All right, so what's the book that you brought for us today that you recommend?
Other Words for Home.
Other Words for Home. And who's it written by?
It's written by Jasmine Warga.
Okay.
She also wrote My Heart and Other Black Holes.
Have you read that one as well?
No, I haven't. I heard I think it's a little bit adultish, but I'm
okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one, but I did read Other Places for Home a couple of years ago. I mean, Other Words for Home, Other Words for Home. Tell everyone what you told me when we were talking right before we went live. And you said, I knew.
When you asked me what book we should do, like I knew right away, other than Sophia's journal, it has to be Other Words for Home.
Oh, bless you. You're so
I mean, I would have recommended Sophia's journal.
But this one is wonderful. I really enjoyed this book. So can you give a small synopsis for the people who are thinking about reading it?
So it's about a Syrian girl. She's 12, 13. And so Syria is in the middle of a war. And so she has to move to America where her uncle lives. And they're all like Americans. And she actually has to leave people behind. And it's difficult for her to come and just start a whole new life because she doesn't even know English, and then she's a young hijabi girl, so she faces obstacles, and it's just really like heart-touching and beautiful.
So when you were talking about that she has to come and you said they're all Americans, so that means her cousins, like they were born and raised here, so they.
Yeah, so she has a cousin, Sarah, and let's just say she's not really into her Syrian culture, so she doesn't speak Arabic. She's very fluent in English, and so it's not like they're best friends. It becomes a little bit hard to communicate between them. And so Jude, the main character, is trying to fit in with Sarah and her friends, and also try to make friends of her own, but it's really hard.
I love that the author kind of put that realism in there, because very often, we assume when somebody comes and live with their family, it's like all sunshine and rainbows. But go ahead.
And then the fact that her country was in war, like I can't imagine the author just got those feelings through the book. And how in the beginning of the book, when she was in Syria, it was just described so amazingly, and the reader immediately got attached to Syria somehow. I've never been, but you just felt this attachment, like you could feel what she's feeling. And then when she came to America, you're like, oh, like, wow.
Oh, you could feel how difficult it was for her. Yeah. So tell us about her relationships at school.
She didn't have many friends. She went sledding once with her cousin Sarah and her friends Harper, Mina, Sloan. But she didn't really she had one Muslim girl, Layla, but she didn't really have a strong best friend, She had kind of a thick accent. She took English classes, and so she described how she felt like an outcast.
Like, for anybody who doesn't know, and you might be thinking, well, doesn't everybody study English these days? First of all, of course, Syria has, like school has been interrupted a bit just as everything else has. But also in Syria, there's a I guess you'd say bilingual system, extralingual system, where when you're going through school, you take English when you're young, and then once you get to like middle school, you decide whether you want to go on a French track or an English track. So many people will study French as their second language instead of English. So there are quite a few people in Syria who, their familiarity with English is kind of on an elementary school level.
Yeah, she didn't describe much of her school, but it was all Arabian. It was all like Syrian food, Arabic, and there was she always wanted to be a movie star, and she always watched these American movies that she said they were always talking so fast. But she didn't really watch modern movies. And so other than movies, she really didn't have any connection to America whatsoever.
Do you feel like she was an introvert or an extrovert? And did her way of interacting with people change when she came to the States?
I think it felt like she was more of an extrovert in Syria because she had a best friend, Fatima, and it was really hard for her to leave her. And she would talk with her. She never really described feeling that outcast kind of thing. But when she came to America, of course, everything changed and she was different, and it was, of course, harder to communicate. And so I think she became more of an introvert later in the story. Well, yeah, when she came to America.
What did the people in your book club feel about the book? Did anybody have any interesting insights or?
Actually, the book club meet is this Sunday about this book.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Well, so you can direct them all to your Daybreak Live interview. Have them listen to the interview before or after they have the meeting. So have you done any research into, or have you heard anything about the author? Was she in Syria during wartime?
Yeah, so she was born here, I'm pretty sure, and her father is from Jordan, and I think her mother, is American. And so she wrote from different perspectives. I think in My Heart and Other Black Holes, I'm pretty sure she wrote from a boy's perspective, I think. And so I think her books are a little bit more diverse in that way.
Tell us about your own reading history. When did you realize that you love to read?
I always loved to read as a young kid, and reading was always my strong point. So I was always into chapter books and everything from a young age. And then I think the first time I got introduced into middle grade Muslim novels was when I started reading Hannah Khan's books. Hannah's books is very popular. I love Her More to the Story. That's one of my favorites. It's a shorter Islamic version of Little Women. And so I really liked that. And then I got really interested. I started reading more books from her series. And then I started to notice other middle grade novels as time passed about Muslim girls. And so I kind of just kept noticing new books. And then my teachers found out that I would like these books, and then they would recommend. And I just kept reading.
What about your writing? Do you write?
Yeah, writing and reading are like I think my stronger points. And so I do really like writing. I recently wrote a poem and yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Have you written anything that like do you say, okay, I'm going to write a short story, I'm going to write a poem? Have you written, like, have you started a novel? Have you, because I know lots of kids your age have started novels already.
I kind of go around writing different stories. So I think I'm still trying to figure out which type of story I like. So I'm in the middle of a super fictional story uh, involving mythical creatures. And then I tried writing a poem. And then during free write, basically during school, it's basically when you can write whatever you want. And so I'm still in the middle of trying to figure out what genre is still for me to write.
For you
And
to write, yeah.
I noticed that what I like reading is very opposite of what I enjoy writing. I enjoy reading realistic fiction, but I love writing complete fiction stories where you can just have anything.
Nice. Like you can do that world building. You can like create the whole world and all the creatures and all the characters and
then I've recently
limitations.
And then I've recently been into poems too. So in my head, I've just been kind of like thinking of first parts of poems because I think I really like poems because you can think of a concept and then you can just kind of keep writing from there.
Yes. Have you read the Wings of Fire series?
No, I haven't.
That would be a great series to start reading if you're interested. Of course, you said that this is not really your main reading interest, but to help you with your world building and, kind of fantasy writing. This is a book with dragon characters.
Mostly I'm into realistic fiction, historical fiction, but I love Harry Potter. So it's mostly realistic fiction, but then I found like a couple of fantasy books that I really like.
That you really like. Nice. Good to hear it. What are the other fantasy book that comes to mind?
Harry Potter. And then I like Wish Tree. It's a really nice book. It's, I guess, kind of a fantasy, but it's featuring real life problems. So it's about a tree, a red oak tree. And so a new Muslim girl moves into the neighborhood, and so she faces racism. And so it's from a really nice perspective. I know it's not a Muslim book, but it's really good. And a really famous book is the one and only Ivan. The author of that wrote Wish Tree, Catherine Applegate.
Oh, beautiful. Nice. So what I'm hearing lots of ideas for books we can do in the future on Daybreak Live. All right. So when we are when we do our Daybreak Live interviews, we have about at the 20-minute mark, we usually have a section called Stop the Presses. And Stop the Presses is where we cease all discussion of literary topics and we ask you 3 questions just for fun, just to get to know you. And we do this even with all the grown-ups. We do this with everybody who comes to Daybreak Live. So the first one I wanted to ask you this evening is, I wanted to ask about your extracurriculars. What do you do when you're not reading and writing? Do you go to any clubs, or you have any activities that you do?
Again, I'm really into graphic designing. So a lot of my, other than reading and writing, a lot of the stuff I'm into is centered around tech. And so I do a lot of graphic designing on Canva. And so I just kind of keep working on that. It's kind of like my fun to do thing. It's my hobby. I also started like a fun little YouTube channel. I just did one video just for a school project. And so I learned to video edit. And so that was really
nice.
Just really fun. Like I'm the kind of person that you can go to for tech support, I guess.
Okay, I'm making this note so that I know who to call.
Stuff that anything that involves designing, interior designing, graphic designing, because I love where you can change the sizes, excuse me,
Uh-huh.
and the colors. And so and so I'm really into that stuff, yeah.
Okay, nice. I really am like, I love Canva. I would love to be someone like you who can really like intuitively, or have or practice to use it well, because I can use it on a very like kindergarten level. But I've seen the beautiful things that people make. I wonder if you have, when you make flyers for your mom, are they ever physical flyers, like you print them out, or are they always just things for her Instagram account?
Thanks for our Instagram account, because usually, unless she's doing like a convention or something, it's pretty much virtual, her business flyers and everything.
Yeah.
We don't really print them out. We just download them and post them.
Okay. Tell us a story about your grandma.
My grandma?
Yeah, either grandma, any grandma.
Um, okay. So I recently wrote a writing. It's funny you ask. I recently wrote a writing piece about my grandma for a school project. We had to write a biography of one person, and it could be someone we knew. And so mostly I've been really inspired by Malala Yousafzai, but I already wrote a biography on her. And so I wrote a biography on my grandma, and she had a really interesting life. She she had a stepmother, and she was put through a lot of like labor and stuff. And
Wow.
and so she wasn't allowed to get an education and stuff. So yeah,
Mashallah. Does she live with you now?
yeah, she's currently in California.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna come over soon in March, I think, to our house.
Alhamdulillah. So she has an amazing story that you could maybe write someday. Or
I've
it sounds like you already wrote it. Excellent. Okay. So what made up word would you like to incorporate into the English language if you could? Like, what's something that we don't have a word for, but we need a word for that?
I think I think we need, I'm not sure. Like I think we need more exaggerated words, because
Oh,
when I'm trying to get the point to someone when I write, it's hard. I need more words like extremely.
yes, extremely, or amazing, or awesome.
Yeah, because amazing or awesome, like that's kind of like, you know, um not I want more interesting vocabulary to put, because I can't always say it was extremely amazing, or it was extremely awful. So
Yeah.
I need more strong vocabulary.
I love this idea. I think the same thing very often. So like I like the idea of putting two words together, like fantastic and fabulous, to make fantabulous. So yeah, I agree with you. We need more words, or at least because we have lots of them in English, but we just don't use them very commonly. We need to bring them back.
Yeah.
I agree 100 million. All right, Sarah, thank you for bringing us this evening. What did you bring us? What book did you bring us?
Other words for home.
Other Words for Home. Can you show it? Just like hold it still for just, like long enough that people can really see yes, beautiful. And is it a Caldecott Award winner? Or a Newbery? What award did it win?
It's I'm pretty sure it's a Caudle Award. It was also a Blue Stem nominee last year in
Oh,
2020.
nice. Look at the
I
silver on the front, the silver sticker. See what,
oh,
or
and this is a Newbery honor book.
Newberry. Yes, wonderful. So, everybody who's thinking now about getting their hands on this book, that it's totally it's a high quality book. It's a Newbery Award winner.
Definitely.
And it was a Blue Stem finalist. So
definitely think every girl should read this.
all right, beautiful. I agree. I like that as a good one-word sign off. Every girl should read this. We'll have to put that in our synopsis under the YouTube, the caption for the YouTube. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for dedicating your third Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. To Daybreak Live. We appreciate that, and we really look forward to the next fun book you bring us.
Me too.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you in about a month.
Okay.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Everybody else, we're going to be we'll be in this place again, not a month. You don't have to wait a month, because we'll be in we'll be live on YouTube again next Thursday at 6 p.m. I also have another announcement. If anybody's still listening, we are going to be having another monthly guest. I don't want to give any details yet, but we'll be having another monthly guest who will be coming to talk to us from the writing side. And she is an expert in not just the writing, but in the elusive art of applications, applying for things, applying for grants, applying for MFA, applying for all the things. She's a multiple award winner. She won the Daybreak Press Book Award last year, and then the same book also won another award. She is the kind of person who knows both sides of writing. She knows the creative part and she knows the business part. So she's going to be an amazing resource for us here on Daybreak Live, and we'll be hearing from her once a month as well going forward. All right, so nice to see you guys. We will see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And of course, we'll be on YouTube after that, and you can click it anytime your heart desires. All right, keep writing. Assalamu alaikum.